And we should be live. Welcome back to the Street Shaman Podcast. I am your host, Poe and the Rockstar, aka Shamanic Poe. And today I'm here with Nick Johnson again, comedian podcaster, right? You got that podcast sponsor this, right?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. So I saw a couple of those. You got some funny shit going on. You doing some skits too?
It's like a podcast based on how every podcast in the beginning, it's like always like a comic and they're trying to like sell you on a product that they don't even use. And they're like, "Oh my
Right.
god, they basically turn into like a QVC host."
Right.
So that's basically what we parody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just funny because like last time we talked, you talked about that, and recently, because I guess because Christmas is around and shit, and I reached out to like one company. I signed up for one company, Crowdify, to get like those type of ads to be part of those type of bullshit partnerships. I think they're bullshit because I don't know, like, yeah, I'll probably promote for these motherfuckers, but if am I gonna get the money back? How do they,
Right.
how can, like, where's the statistics to show me that I actually contributed or I didn't contribute? You get what I'm
Right.
saying? They
Well,
have those little coupon codes.
do you get paid for it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 25% of the profit for one of these companies that I'm working for right now. Uh,
Solid.
but they were trying to. The shit was funny because they were trying to like pick out your free leggings. I'm like, you guys need to get to know me first. Like, you know what I mean? Like free leggings. So I was like, I saw some watches. I'm like, yo, God, I'll I'll fuck with the watches. You can send me some watches, whatever. You can send me a free watch. All right. Then they sent me the link. It seemed like they didn't really give a fuck. All right, I guess we'll send you the watches because obviously you're probably making more money off the leggings. They're like $60 leggings, and apparently I'll probably see like $15 from that every time somebody buys one or whatever. But
I mean, that's a good deal, and I have nothing against someone doing a sponsorship. It's just when you're like, "Oh my, this is like fucking, this is amazing. This is the best thing that you know what I mean." It's just like, nah, I'm getting paid to read this ad, and like, as long as you're honest about it, which you
right,
are.
right. I mean, I've seen a couple people that talk about, they comedians mostly, right? They're the best at it. They'll talk about a product they know they don't give a fuck about, and they'll make jokes all the way through. Like, I don't fuck with this shit. Like Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon made plenty of jokes. He got his shit's like QVC for real. Like every fucking 15 minutes is like, here's 3 minutes of sponsorship talk.
But
That
his are
shit's it.
good. He's like talking about how satanic pedophiles use these products. You know what I mean? Like he's clowning on the sponsor and still somehow getting paid. So I respect that shit. You know.
Right. Right.
But
So
let's
that's go
sorry,
ahead.
go on.
No, go ahead. Talk to me. What you was gonna
No,
say.
man. I mean, I feel like the elephant in the room is what the fuck we're all feeling right now with this anxiety of what is this election.
Do you got election anxiety, Nick?
Oh, for sure, man. I thought I was disconnected from politics. I was like, oh, I'm just like the this guy who just doesn't care. I'm unbiased. But yeah, man, it's getting to me. How about you?
A little bit. I mean, it's here and there. When I pay attention to it, then I'm like, what the fuck is this? But then I just gotta pull myself back from it. Like, man, this is all bullshit. I don't know what's really going on. The
Right.
numbers. I'll be looking at the numbers like, all right, this is classified as a Biden win over here, but you only counted 80% of the votes, and they're
Right.
only off by a point. And then other spots like Trump's got him by like 3 points, and there's only like 5% left to count, and they're still not giving it to Trump. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the shit is like 260 something and like 215 the last time I checked, or 214 or whatever last time I checked. And I'm like, how does this make sense? How the fuck does this make sense? Like, what are you doing here? I suck at impressions, so I don't know why I did that. But
It's better if your Trump impression's bad. um, no, yeah, dude. I don't know how Trump didn't get Alaska. Like, there's no way they made Sarah Palin. Like, there's no way he's not gonna get Alaska. Just give him the 3 points, guys.
right, he was winning by a landslide last time I checked, and it's still like, nope. That's just so funny, man. That's why you can see it. It's like, who's going to be the president? And now I'm getting to the point of the government is probably so clever than we think. They look like buffoons, but they might be so ahead of the curve that they know how many people are gonna go along with the shit anyway. So they just like account for the all right, these are the ones that are not gonna follow suit. It's a small percentage. The rest of the fucking herd is coming through, so it doesn't matter. Get up there, make a show, make a mockery, try to get some ratings. Cause it's like whoever wins, to me, it's like if Biden wins, it's because they wanted Biden to win.
Right.
It's not us.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing about Biden. Like, the one difference I see in like voting for Biden versus Trump, like, people
Right.
forgot why like, I was initially like, all right, whatever. I didn't vote in the last one. I was like, whatever. Trump's probably better than Hillary because it's going to fuck the whole system up. But then somewhere
Right.
along the line, people forgot that's why we voted for Trump, was to just be as a big fuck you. It wasn't that we had faith in him. And then somewhere along the line, a bunch of people crossed over into being like, this guy is the greatest ever. And now
Right.
we're in the same position where we're like, all right, Biden sucks, whatever, but we gotta fuck everything up that's happening. And I'm scared that if Biden wins, it's going to be the same process. In 4 years, people are going to be loving Kamala when we hated her in the primaries,
Right. And I mean, these are people that are not likable people. They've done bullshit. They like their history is all shaky, every single one of them. So
Right.
for somebody to be on one side and be like, no, 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 that's fine. Over there, it's just ludicrous. It's absurd. You see that shit, you go, yo, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we just trying to like put the blinders on? We can't do the blinders no more. We know too much.
Right.
The information is out there. Everybody's yelling it, at the on top, on the treetops, like, oh, and people still like, no, nope, I don't
Dude,
care.
it's like having a realization on LSD, and then you come back and you're like, oh, I don't want to think about all that shit that I just had to go through, all the
Right.
trauma from childhood. Now let's just pretend things are back to normal.
Right, you just tripping. You come back, you go, oh man, I'm not gonna think about that. Yo, fuck that shit. I'm never doing that again. Never doing that again. I'm not looking that way. Anybody tells me something, I'm denying it. No, I was fine. I was fine. I saw like cats. Like, you ever see people trip on some shit, and then they come back and act like, yo, you said some real shit. Like, I'll go up to them. I'll be the person like, yo, you said some real shit. You broke down this, and they'll just look at me like, don't ever bring that back up again. Like, I'll be like, yo, you had some points. You know what I mean? They're like, no, that didn't happen. I was tripping. Don't even.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like that on any drug, man. When people drink, they'll tell you everything, but because it gives
Right.
them the ability to not remember what they said. So,
Right. I mean, that's why I drink a little bit too. I drink to just open up the floodgates. What were you saying? Sorry.
no, man, you're my gateway into the conspiracy. You're like the last conspiracy guy that like I can follow because you don't take it over the edge. So what's the haps in the conspiracy world right now with what's going on?
Well, I want to say it was, what Trump's already been saying, because QAnon is, that's just basically a bunch of Trump followers, to be real with you.
Right.
And they mixed in some conspiracy. They just took like a bunch of different conspiracies and put it under like Trump's our guy. Those guys, they already saying like all these mail-in ballots and all this other bullshit that's going on is basically just to so that right, just to fake, just to fake the numbers, and that they were gonna fluff the numbers in certain places. And honestly, I saw some weird shit. I don't know how much of it is true because I wasn't really looking so keen into fucking Michigan, but they showed a picture. I think it was Sam Tripoli who put it up. It was like a screenshot of um Joe Josenberger. What's her name? Is that her name?
Jorgensen, yeah.
Jorgensen. I'll be fucking people's names up. Joe Jorgensen. She had like 80,000 votes, and then like some time passed, and she ended up losing 40,000 votes.
Yeah.
And the percentages went right, like that little margin went right to Biden as well. And then Biden started winning Michigan. You know what I mean? So it was like, I don't know. I seen it. I don't know how much. You get what I'm saying? 'Cause sometimes I don't want to read into all this shit. Sometimes it's just a waste of fucking time, to be real with you. But
Right.
I see it. I can see all the fucking finesse in the world. And look how they ran this election. They didn't run this election with good policies and let's do right by the people. They did everything by finesse and by trickery, and they over here abusing us and telling us it's him, it's his fault. You know what I
Right.
mean?
On
Like,
both
oh,
sides.
yeah, both sides. They smacking you and telling you, yo, it's because of him. If he didn't do that, I wouldn't have to slap you like this. You know what I mean? It's like, you get what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
and people
Stockholm syndrome.
and people are buying into it because that shows how many people are actually fucking like traumatized in the world. How many people are actually just got some complex, post traumatic, stress disorder,
Right.
and it just shows in these type of situations how people just choose a side and they go for like what makes them feel good or try to fight against what makes them feel bad. You know what I mean? And it's all feeling. Nothing is policy. Nothing is about actually even getting us to the next stop, because it's like, all right, Biden wins, now what? Now what are we doing?
Right.
Does he have a plan? Because he hasn't told me anything. They've been talking
Right.
like a secret plan. There's a secret plan. Like, he's been talking like it's a fucking secret. It shouldn't be a secret.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're painting him like he's a socialist. He couldn't be like any more. Like, he's a Republican who runs on a Democratic ticket, and like, I, I can't understand like this. Like, maybe you could understand like what this like thing of demonizing social programs. Like, everyone thinks the new thing is like social. It's like how they viewed Trump as a complete fascist. Now it's we're viewing anyone who's not on Trump's side as a complete socialist.
What do you mean? Like, the people that are on Trump's side, they think that everybody that's
Uh,
opposed to Trump is a socialist.
Yeah,
Like,
on like a
they
demonic level and shit. I mean, it's probably Facebook, but
this is part of what I'm saying. Complex post traumatic stress disorder, or people that would have, like, say, BPD. Like, I know Yuji's in the chat. She knows about this very well. People that have BPD or borderline, or even any kind of like narcissism, I want to say they all have like this black and white thinking. So everybody, it's starting to show to me that this isn't like, oh, what they were saying in the statistics, oh, maybe 10% have, this mental disorder or whatever. No, it seems like this is a worldwide thing, or at least nationwide. At least for us,
yeah,
the majority of the people have an infantile state, a state of mind. They think like kids. So everything is black and
right,
white. It's
right.
all or nothing. It's like, it's no, they can't find any nuance. That's why the music is shit. That's why art is people got really good at the aesthetic and making it look really pretty, like, ooh, wow, like Disney, but the substance is like Disney. It's watered down. We heard the story before. You get what I'm saying? And
Right,
it's
right, right.
all throughout. And if you even try to hit somebody with some nuance in nowadays, they don't even have the receptors to pick that shit up. They can't even understand it. They'll just wait for you to say so, because and another thing about people that can't understand shit, they'll just, I know some hood people, when you're saying shit that they don't understand, they look at you like, what you trying to say? Because they don't understand. So now they mad, like, yo, you saying something funny? Yo, you talking slick, yo? You're like, nah,
Right.
actually, what I was trying to, like, I'm trying to get down to the nuance of what I'm explaining here. No, 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 you, because they don't understand it. Yo, would you? And that's what I see as, like, although people ain't hood and they ain't coming through with the attitude, they're like, actually, that one word you said was wrong. Actually, it's like, who are you to say this? You're an ist. Everybody's an ist, a sexist, colorist, racist, you know what I mean? Misogynist. Like, it's an ist. Everybody's an ist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, knock it the fuck off with the ists. We're people. We have our moments. I might be somebody this week, and then 2 days from now, I might be a totally different person, depending on the situation, depending on what's going on in my life. You don't know the ins and outs, and people are missing that because they just think in black and white. They see you a certain way, then you're that. It's easier for them, and
Dude,
the world
this
is about easy, right?
no, I agree 100%, dude. Like, this plays like, I didn't really even want to talk about this. But my roommate, so over the course of like the last year, he lived with us at our old place, and now at the new place, he over that
Breaking
timeline,
up.
he turned into a sorry. Over the last
You
year,
good?
my one of my roommates, he turned into a Nazi. Like, not ironically,
He turned into
like
actual Nazi.
literally, like, was telling me how like Mein Kampf is like a guy you need to read it, and like, races can't live together in harmony and shit like that. And I was
Okay,
like,
so
and I
that
and I'm really trying to like pull him back from the brink and like not judge him for going down this rabbit hole, and
right,
try to make him realize that like everything is so nuanced, but like once you get into like a bubble of people and you get labeled as something, like he's probably labeled in like all these online chats he's in as a Nazi. So now where does he go? He goes to the other people who agree with him, and he's never gonna get the thought question that maybe we're all a little bit at fault for things and not at fault for other things. And that's
right,
like a really like everyone's getting either radicalized or I don't want to say not I don't want to say like the opposite, but people are getting like indifferent to like the whole thing because they're afraid to be labeled as something like you said an ist.
right. Well, what with him, what I notice is with most people that ended up ending up. Come on, dude, don't get over there, my fucking cat. Um, with anyone that's trying to get into any kind of bubble, and I'm speaking from experience here, when you get into certain bubbles and you stay there for a long period of time, it gets to that hive mind. Everybody got to think a certain way. So, and it feels great. Like it feels great if you're lonely, if you ain't got like an outlet around you. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. It's the same thing as, you name it, like Nazi. That to me, that's like just another gang. It's a racist gang, but it's a gang nonetheless. You get what I'm saying? To be like, I'm into this shit.
Right,
I
right,
go online to talk about this shit. I meet up with people. You might not have a certain color, but you might have a tattoo. It's like a cult.
right,
And cults are only made from
right.
loneliness and feeling like you're not of this world, or and looking for an answer. Like, say for instance, he's lonely. He ain't getting no sex.
No
He ain't getting no
pussy.
play.
Yeah.
He ain't getting no pussy or no butt, whatever the fuck he like, right? So
Right.
he's not getting no play out in there, and he looks out into the world as a white man. And I'm talking like I'm white, but I'm not. But I understand this pretty well because I'm opposite of other people, even from my color and from my culture. So you're looking at the world like, where the fuck do I fit in? Where do I
Right.
fit in? And it's because of, you can look out in the world and who's famous, who's popular, who's famous. You got a lot of black people. You got a lot of, they're the ones that are more glamorous. People are looking up to them. You even got a lot of white girls in your town. They riding around listening to rap music. They want to fuck the black dudes. And I can see how that would make a white person salty if your swag ain't popping no more. Because I've been in situations, and I'm possibly in a situation now. I've been aware. I did my due diligence to not be so salty. But yeah, when you're in a situation where I'm the outcast, and here's all the reasons why that shit ain't fucking popping, you know, if you don't have the right mindset or the right like philosophy on life to look at some shit with some nuance, you're gonna be, yo, fuck that. I'm over here because these people over there, those are the enemies. We need to just attack. Either we're the victims and we need to come back. Anything to be like there's an opposition over there. That's the reason why I can't get my shit together. That's why
Right.
my life ain't looking too good. It's because some people out there, and it's the same shit we're talking about with politics. They doing the same shit to each other. It's because it's over there. It's
Yep.
because it's over there. And it's like, even when we get collective as a nation, we go, there's still some problems. It's a different country. And it may or
Mm-hmm.
may not be, but we're not, by doing that and pointing out like over there and having a scapegoat, we're not taking care of the fucking problems that we have within. Feel me? Sorry, I had to go in there. I had to
No,
go in
yeah,
a little
dude, I
lecture.
agree. I agree with you, man. Like I've been really getting into this guy Daniel Mackler. He's got a pretty small YouTube channel, but he's like an ex-therapist. And just like we don't even realize it, but we're just operating based on like traumas we had when we were like 0 to 10 years old. That's basically who a person is because once you get like stunted from growth at that age, and that's probably why anytime something fucked up in my life happens, I just laugh because it's
Yep.
it's just like, it's a defense mechanism. That's probably
It's the
not the
best
worst.
one. It's
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
best
say
defense
the other
mechanism
defense
ever.
mechanism is to like become a Nazi. So I'm glad I just got the laughing defense mechanism.
Right. I'm the same way. Like that's what saved me for the most part. Like just being like it would happen. I used to like think of my life like I was in American Pie or some shit. Like I was the star of American Pie. Like all the goofy shit that can go wrong. Yeah, that happened to me. Like, oh, the goofy, oh, yep, me. And then I'll just be there laughing, like just be looking like, really? This shit would happen to me. I would get caught in the pouring rain when I had to walk like a 4 or 5 mile walk, and now I'm
Right.
walking in squishy shoes and people are driving past me trying to splash water from the fucking curb at me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I've been through it and I'll be like, oh, I wouldn't get mad. Like maybe once or twice, I'd be like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's 5 in the morning, I got splashed on. But it was just the way I was doing life. I was not giving a fuck, and then I was expecting shit to just go smoothly. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, I think Nick's stuck. Nick, you stuck?
No, yeah, Mac.
All right, cool. You over there looking a little stuck. But yeah, um, what do you think's gonna come of this fucking election? Do you think that we're gonna be a peaceful country? You think we're gonna start fighting? Do you think
So,
they want us to fight? Uh oh, Nick is Nick is no
shit,
good.
who's they? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
All right, I just plugged in a wired connection for my internet. So
No
that
doubt, no doubt. It wouldn't give you too much shit. You said who's they? Did you just ask me who's
all
they?
right, is the image
No, you stuck, buddy. UG Rose said facts, it could be worse. Thankfully, you can catch it and not snap when life happens and blame the world. Thanks, UG. Appreciate you. Jess, I see you in the chat too. Appreciate you. Let me get Nick back on here. This shit happens. All right, Nick. What happened, man?
dude, my shit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. You just stuck. And don't worry, you don't look too awkward in your stuckness. You all right.
All right. Yeah, fuck it. Things happen. No, I was gonna ask you who is they? Who that's what like I think people are so fucking messy. It's like I don't know how organized even the most powerful people can be.
Well, they some of those people, I want to say some of those people are very organized. And the day, if there is a day to do any of this shit and want some like actual repercussions,
Mm-hmm.
uh it would be the richest of the rich people, I guess. You get what I'm saying? The ones that go to Bohemian Grove or whatever the fuck that's called, and they burn sticks like it's a fucking baby in front of a giant owl,
Yeah,
and wear
Moloch.
big, yeah, Moloch, and the guys, But why would they do that shit? The only thing I could think of why they would do that shit is for fun. It's probably like boredom, or let's just take some more power. Let's take more power. People are getting too smart. Let's do something to bring them to collide, so that way they're not. Damn, Nick, I'm seeing weird shit over there on your chat.
My bad.
You're fine. That's the
My
only thing I
chat.
could think of. Your fucking video, my fault, man. My words don't always come out correctly. It's gonna be alright.
You're not a perfect person?
No,
Damn, bro.
contrary to popular belief.
God damn. I thought you were gonna get me enlightened after this chat.
No, no, no. I ain't got nothing new. You know all this shit. Nick, you know all this shit. That's why you're like, I don't
Right.
believe half the shit. How did you get from knowing a lot of shit and then not believing it?
Dude, I was a hardcore conspiracy theorist, like in my early, I would say like 19 to 21. And then one day I just realized that I was just projecting a lot of trauma. And like you said, just placing it on the other, like, oh, these elites are making it so I can't hold down a job, you know? And then I just
Well,
got to the point of personal responsibility.
yeah, no, I get that because I think a lot of people go into conspiracies just like myself, like looking for what's wrong with the world instead of looking at what's wrong with you, motherfucker. Like you fucking up. Nah, the world is not doing what I wanted to do. Let's figure out why. These guys,
Mhm.
you know. And yeah, it's part of it is personal responsibilities. Part of it is like these are things that we don't fucking know why they want to do this, or it's just like let's get more money because more money is good. They're in a room somewhere like who can gather the most chips, ha ha ha, and just
Right.
playing a game that not thinking or not, they really, they're psychopathic and they're narcissists because they're not thinking about the people that it's affecting. They're just trying to collect as much money. That's probably,
Right.
one of my biggest issues like musically was like, you know I'll sell you a shirt, fine, I'm not going to oversell the shirt. I'm not going to, like, oh, the shirt's fucking $30, $40. Like, you've been to some concerts or you've seen some people that like they got merch that it's like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna try to do that. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, I might fuck around and be like, yo, just take the shirt for free. Cause I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Hmm.
not thinking like how much money can I get? Each person is just dollar signs to me.
Right.
That's how these, to be a millionaire, billionaire, 90% of those people is because they just look at people and go, dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. Give me as much as you can. Let me see how I can finesse some money out of you. Whereas I feel I got some shame when it comes to that shit. I got a little shame of like, damn, yo, I'm over here. Like when it comes business, I understand everything. I know how to do things, but then I'm reluctant to do them, or I'll most likely self sabotage the situation because it makes me feel icky. So that's
Oh,
one of the
dude.
things that
Yeah.
I'm,
I'm
you know what I mean?
horrible. I'm horrible, horrible, horrible at business, money, like negotiating my wage with like an employer, shit like that. Because I'm like, on some level, I'm like, oh, I'm this deeply empathetic person. But then when it really comes down to it, I'm like, I'm kind of just scared to get what I deserve, you know? And I think a lot of
Right.
us do that if we're not in that wolf mentality, which it's a dichotomy of the world right now.
Correct. And I know how to get myself in that. Like I know how to be like, all right, let me just work myself up. But I also seen what it does to people around me and how other people react to me, and that also makes my anxiety go up. It also makes me like easily triggered. You know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
somebody say something, I'm already like on this. So like even putting out music, I get into that mindset because I'll sit in front of the board. I'm sitting there for hours on end trying to get the shit right, mix it down. Nah, it's not right. Go back again, do it again. So I had to like learn. I'm learning. I'm not saying I had to. I'm still learning how to like go, but don't go so hard where everything is like fuck everything else. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people just live that way. That's why they got the money and then they have 4 or 5 kids. They don't give a fuck about their kids, and the kids are smoking crack and doing a whole bunch of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Not gonna say no names, maybe our president that we might have, like they
Yeah,
go
doesn't
off
his
to do wild shit because they're not getting the attention that they deserve. They're not getting treated. They're not getting cultivated to be great adults. They're getting shunned aside because the person that's, you know, made them is just focused on money and how much can I gather and how big and how high on the fucking mountaintop can I stand.
Hmm. No, yeah, and you also learn that at a young age, like you become that person. Usually people just become the person that they hated when they were younger. You have healthy shame and guilt. You don't need to deal with feeling like you're taking more than needed or not bringing the best to the table. No, yeah, I mean, you can understand that logically, but when you're in the moment and like these emotions are coming up and you're like, well, I don't really want to push back to ask for a little extra. There's a lot to, but it's like, no, yeah, I should have, but you
Right.
know, my balls
Right.
shrunk in the moment.
Right. Exactly. That's why, like now, it took I had to fight an anxiety, little bit of anxiety to just be like, hey, if you want to donate and help me out, here's the PayPal link. And now it's like a copy and paste thing on my fucking Instagram. So it's like it's there. I'm just copying and pasting. I don't got to think about, oh, am I like asking for, now I'm asking for money and shit. Like, it's just, if you want to help out, you see that I'm doing something that you like.
Right.
Obviously the music doesn't make any money. Like, even if you buy a song, I appreciate you. 70 cents. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
is if you buy it. If you play it, it's a third of a penny. So there's
Really?
no money. So it's like, all right, well, I'll just put it up. If people want to donate, I'm not harassing nobody. I'm not hitting nobody up. I'm not gonna be mentioning it like fucking, yo, make sure. No, I just put it up. If you read it, if you're gonna read my fucking comment or my description for the meme and go all the way down to like the third paragraph, then yeah. But outside of that, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not trying to push it. Fuck that shit.
But
And
it's like at the end of the day, you kind of do deserve like the amount of stuff you put out for free. I'm not even talking about all the music you put out, dude. Like I probably have 3 or 4 good laps a day just from what you post on Instagram, and that has nothing. I mean, that's like a full time. You have like a full time job that you just do for free for people.
yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's the same thing. Like it's like a grappling. Like you don't want to be this like capitalistic like wolf, but at the end of the day, it's like, are people going to recognize you unless you make them aware that this is what you need, not need, but like this is what you deserve to survive.
right. I'm just trying to make a couple dollars here, right? But it was feeling weird before. I'm getting to that point too, because I'm starting to get to the point like, all right, now I am creating enough value. I'm making people, I make people chuckle. I'm also, putting people hip to certain things. We do the podcast. So if you want to sit here and talk and, or listen to people talk about some bullshit, you can get that from me. If you like that, you want to help out. So that, and then there's music. So then all those things you can go, okay, well, this guy is doing this, that, and the third. All right,
Right.
let me throw him some money. And then if I get the money, I won't be like, damn, I feel crazy. Cause I'm like, well, I am doing this, that, and the third if they really fuck with me. All right, cool.
Hmm.
I appreciate it. Thank you. But it's just, when anybody talking about money, it's just scummy. And I don't know how other like rappers, they just out there like, yeah, yo, 50,000 is you know, 50,000 is my fee. And some people are talking 50,000 for their fee. They're not bringing in 1,000 people into a show.
Well, now they're
Not
not
even,
bringing any because
well,
fucking
now
COVID.
I don't know when anybody's doing the shows now, but there's plenty of people out there that charge way above what they're going to actually bring in.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just, and how can you be so shameless? You know what I mean? How can you be so shameless? Like, yo, 100,000. Like,
That might be a reaction to they were doing the same shit we were doing right now and they're early and then they're like they make it big, they have a name and now they're like, "Well, all those years where I didn't make any money and I was putting out so much shit for you guys for free. Now I need even more to pay me back for all the times that I didn't speak up and go, give me $300 for the show rather than give me free drinks, you know?"
right. But I don't know, too much money that they're asking for. They kind of like fuck up the whole system with all this like hierarchy of like, oh, if you got all this money, then yeah, you could be successful. But so all the other people that don't have no money, now they can't be creative and be successful and be heard, because there's
Mhm.
plenty of people that come from, well-off families that can get all the fucking equipment and they just copy and
True.
paste creativity, you know, they copy and paste the creativity. They just steal from this, that, and the third. Let me latch onto that. And the competition is like, well, yeah, you're more visible because you have the money to be more visible.
Right.
But now you're just taking away from people that are actually dope because you want to do something and you feel that you can. And maybe you could, but most of these people really can't. That's why it seems so homogenized. So like everything is just like bloop, one style, even though people think like, oh, there's all these. No, everybody's pretty much talking the same. They got the same slang. They got the same, you know, the same aesthetic. They do things the same way. They ask the questions in the same way. Like there's too many. It's too much. You know what I
Dude,
mean? Like
no, yeah, you just brought up a thought in my head. This all reminds me of like, you ever scroll on Instagram and every third post is a chick that sponsored her content or whatever, and it's just like a picture of her with her butt out or what. It's like I like looking at that, but like it's not like she's promoting a business, nothing. She just wants follows, and then eventually that makes her money in like the long run. And it's like
right.
what you're coming back to say, like they have the money, they'll spend a couple $100s to sponsor each post. And now the people who have the money to do that, now they're getting paid, to sit on their couch and not even produce anything for you. I mean, I guess just not get fat and like look good on a camera. Like at least
That's
like an
it.
OnlyFans chick, you got to respect it. She's putting herself out there. Like that could jeopardize her future.
Right.
To
She's
like,
doing something. She's doing something. She's not just giving you the pictures of the tits. I'm hoping that most of these girls are actually doing something. They take showers. They fucking, you know what I mean? I don't
that's
know.
like
I
a
never
very
seen it.
low bar. I hope
What?
they take showers.
No, on video for people.
Oh,
Obviously, I would hope they take some showers, but
I hope they
I
brush their.
wasn't. I, I wasn't fucking. No, I wasn't attacking nobody like that. I'm just saying like they just perform on camera and shit. Like I know there's dudes that got OnlyFans. They just whack it off, and you know what I mean. And girls
Right.
pay for that. It's a weird time. It's a weird time for people. Just prostitution should just be legal. I think. Like we already gotten to this, this point that everybody's already paying for it. The girls are saying, "Hey, you want to be with me? You got to pay X amount of dollars." And the guys
Yeah.
are chumps. They want to pay. Most guys want to pay. The most guys, I'll pay. I'll pay. They're on the song. Come with me, girl. I'll pay your way. Like it's like, but we were
Dude,
supposed to be equal. But we were
yeah.
supposed to be equal. Now we getting sunned out over here, and the chicks are bossed up when they want to be. They want to be toxic when they want to be. But the minute that a dude's like, "Yo, ass," it's like girls is looking at, "Whoa, whoa, 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 now, fall
Hmm.
back." And what they do is this. Now I see people saying, "Oh, well, you guys did that." Oh, so now we don't. Not our turn. It's your turn. Like,
Well,
what are we taking?
no
We
one
taking
takes
turns.
responsibility for our us being at this point. It's just an overreaction for guys like for so long being grossly misogynistic. Now women are capitalizing on that and making money off of it, and now we're pissed at it. But it's like we kind of made this situation. So there, just because a chick, I guess me getting mad at these girls with their sponsored posts, it's neither all of our faults
It's
that
all
we're
of our
here.
fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, dudes like to look at ass, but social media made it to the point where girls show their body, they get enough attention online. So when they go outside, they don't even meet the guy that they really want because they're too busy, living in a fantasy bubble inside their head, inside that phone.
Hmm. Well, I
So
mean, that's like there's so much opportunity. There's so much they see that online, but that's not real.
And I mean, it can be real, but at the end of the day, you guys are not really connecting with it. You're just pulling from it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many girls out there that they're not connecting. People that I have in this chat, we be connecting. Everybody that's in this chat, they're people from Instagram that I actually connect with. That's why they're here. I haven't really, fucking put out any ads or anything to really promote this shit. I'm still
Yeah.
trying to get nice with it. You know what I mean? Before I do some shit like that. But the people here, we connect, we could talk, we'll have a whole conversation, need be, or whatever the situation is. But there's so many girls and guys that they're out there just like, I'm gonna be the person that's just gonna receive all this love and not give any back.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And
It's
what do you think that does to like the karma of the world, like the energy moving around when somebody's just like all the energy to me, no energy back?
that's the whole MGTOW movement. You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just guys like basically disengaging with the world or at least the dating world because they see that happening And instead of like going and trying to like, be someone that they would want, they'd rather, I mean, I guess they become someone that they would want, but then they're like, well, now you don't want me for me, you want me for because I became someone special, so it's a double-edged sword there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I used to be confused with that fucking with that idea all the time. To be like, oh well, if I get a girl later and I'm successful later and I get a girl then how can I ever trust her because she came along when I was successful? You know what I mean? Instead of I get a girl now and then she's seen me through all my ups and downs and then maybe she'll stay. But we don't fucking know nothing. You just trying to you're acting like you got the equation down, like you got the answer down. Guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. You could be rich, you could be poor, you could have the best girl, you could fuck it up. You know what I mean? It can go either way.
Yeah.
It can go either way. It's like you can meet the best girl after you become successful. And why you didn't meet her before? Because you wasn't in those rooms. Because you wasn't at those, you couldn't just take a flight and meet somebody in San Antonio or whatever. So instead of being like bitter because you couldn't get the girl that all these other dudes was getting when you was a kid, instead of like holding that grudge, you should just be let me have fun with this. If I'm not going to take relationships seriously, then let me just enjoy life. Like go to fucking Brazil and fuck some prostitutes. Like I don't know, do some shit. Like enjoy yourself. Don't sit there and salty talking about I go my own way. Now I go my own way. Where you going? You ain't going nowhere.
You're going in your room. No, but
Right. You're going in your room in your drawers and you're playing games for 15 hours.
But dude, is it so like bad for a woman? Like they're like, oh, she doesn't want me until I have money, until I'm stable, and like it's like, is it so wrong for a woman to like want you to be at least like halfway onto your journey of being who you're gonna be? Like people expect women to like have to. I mean, people expect everyone like that's the whole point of becoming a better person is so you can interact with other people in the world in a healthy way. But people are like, no, they should like me when I'm a piece of shit. It's like, you don't even like you, you know?
Right. Right. If you liked you wouldn't be talking all this shit. You would just be trying to get on with your life. You're over here
Right.
just talking all your fucking low self-esteem out into the world. You're ruining up the vibe. You're ruining the vibe. But I used to, I've done it. I've done all the shit. I've done
Oh,
everything. That's the reason why, like, that's where my all my skill, my fucking gifts are lie is that I made every damn mistake that can be made. And I didn't make it once. I made probably every mistake that can be made a couple times. A couple times in different situations, thinking that I was different. And then turn around and be like, oh shit, behind my back, I just did another mistake, some more bullshit that I thought I got past. You know what I mean? Like, because
right.
after a period of time, say you learn your lesson, and you go, I learned my lesson, I'm never doing that shit again. And then after a period of time, things change, you change, the idea of the world change, the movies change their narratives. So now you feel like, wait a minute, that might be acceptable. The mistake that I made before, the world is now telling me that it's acceptable. I'm getting all these messages, and here's this opportunity right in front of you. And then you take it, whoop, you get smacked right in the face. Is another mistake, dog. What you did? Why you did that for? Like, so
Yeah.
it's like knowing that, and then being around enough idiots just like myself that made mistakes and continue to make mistakes. You can see other people's mistakes like no other. You know what I mean? Like you'll see somebody else's mistake before you see
Right, right,
yourself,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So I would see mad people's mistakes, and then the last person's mistakes that I needed to see was myself. I started, oh wait a minute, I do that, and that's the easiest thing. That's the best thing. Once you can get into like, yo, I be fucking up. I'm sorry. I did that. My bad. It's because I was scared. It's because I was, you know what I mean? I was feeling some type of way. Whatever the situation is, that's when you get into a better place. Because after a while, when you say it, that should just, you know what I mean? All that weight on your shoulders just lifts up. You ain't got to worry about holding that shit because people think they're not holding it when they really are.
Well,
You know what
that's
I mean?
like it's a fine line because I'm like, every time now that I'm getting older, I'm like think every time I judge someone because I'm a very judgmental person. Anytime I judge someone, anytime I call someone an idiot in my head, then I try to like a second later, I'm like, wait, what does that say about me? Is that like a reflection of me? And it's a fine line because some people are just genuinely douchebags, you know? And it's like
Right.
sometimes I gaslight myself into thinking that I'm the asshole in a situation when it's really like, no, I'm just not, I'm afraid to stand up for myself, you know?
Right. Right.
So,
So you end up standing up. Let me try to like guess what you mean here. So you end up standing up for yourself, and then if you do stand up for yourself a little bit because somebody says some bullshit, and then you stand up for yourself, but then you feel like an asshole because they either like make you feel like an asshole, or
well,
everybody else in the room looks at you like, why did you do that?
not even that, like just take someone on the internet and I like think something shitty about them. Like, where's the truth? Like, truth is somewhere, right? Where's the truth? Is it me projecting a feeling, or is it really just them acting in a shitty way? And it's like your own mind can gaslight you into thinking like, yeah, I'm a spiritual person who think, I'm conscious of things, I'm conscious of myself. Like, what does this say about, like, really it could just be that they're really traumatized and acting out, you know
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's like let's ask the chat. What do you guys find that, I guess, yeah, people in chat, what do you think about when someone does something in the world and it pisses you off, and you like, what amount of times is it uh do you come to the conclusion that it was you or them? Is it more often you, or is it more often just that the world is fucked up?
Right. All right. Now we'll wait. We'll wait. See if somebody write something. Um.
What do you think,
What
Pug?
was I saying? I had something there, and I. So a lot of times, what would happen to me is and this is something recently that I've been really paying attention to. So I'd be drinking sometimes. So like I'm not drinking every fucking day, but like once a week, twice a week, right? And I notice if I go too hard that night when I'm drinking, I'll be having a great fucking time. I'll be in here, I'll be by myself, right in here, like, oh, music be jumping. I'll be by myself having a great time, thinking all amazing things. Then in the fucking morning, like 8 o'clock come around, 9 o'clock come around, and if I open up my fucking phone and I'm looking through shit, like none of them jokes is funny. You're an asshole. You stop showing off. You're a piece of shit. Like I could
Right.
easily start now, and I'll just be like looking at it, but I catch myself. So I look at it and I'll be like, I just put the phone down, like, yo, look, yeah, what are you thinking about? Like, look how you thinking right now. And it's usually because like either like I need some coffee or some shit, you know, I'm missing something. I'm missing a component in my like I need to smoke a little weed. I need because I do shit, it's not like because I don't want to sit here and be like straight edge or anything like that. I like to enjoy myself. Like so because I do shit, there is gonna be times that I go up and down, you know? There is gonna be
Mm-hmm.
times that I go up and down. And knowing that I go up and down and being aware of all my ups and downs, it kind of like puts a lot of things in perspective. Like, yo, this when I be mad about something, I have control of my impulses. I'm not like super impulsive. So I can think those thoughts and not just go and type them. But how about the people that get triggered and they're salty and they can't even just think them to themselves? They need to tell you. They need to be like, yo, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
So
mean, that's like also a night thing, you know? I don't know
for
what it is
you,
about
for you,
like
it's night. For me, it's usually
it's the
daytime.
morning. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, and it's only because of a big like if I had a great time the night before, I feel like shit in the morning. Sarah Bear said, "I take inventory. I will journal and take a look at the situation depending on the experience." Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate you, girl. All right. Gigi said, "You realize that both people bring shit to the table that they have to own and work on if the relationship is going to survive. If I care, I'll work on it. 100%, Eugene. What else? Who else we got? You want to read that?
I
We
know I've
definitely won't.
done some stuff in the past as a kid that I know I was wrong. But when I call someone out and I know that they do something fucked up, yet they think it's still good, I'm like, nah, I don't fuck with it. So yeah, I mean, it's not a clean answer ever. Like that's what sucks because it's always somewhere in the middle. And trying to decipher that is like it's like the mystery to life, at least for me. I don't know,
Right.
you know?
I don't want to fuck up your name, girl. I want to say your name is Kalia, right? Tell me yes or no in the chat, or yell at me in the DMs or in the comments in IG later, because I'm sorry. It's always a bit of both, because even through a digital format, it's still two people having interaction. One person interacting with the collective, then the audience's personal experience. Yeah, yeah. It's, we project a lot, man. We project. Like, if we having a great time and we watch somebody have a great time, like, say for New Year's, if you're doing great New Year's, and you partying it up in New Year's, and then you go on your feed and everybody's partying up, you be like, yeah, everybody's doing what I'm doing. We're all enjoying ourselves together, even though you're not in the same place. But if
Right.
you having a shitty time and everybody's New Year's is lit, you're like, man, fuck them. They just like, look, they're just spending money. Like, whatever your rationality goes to. My shit is like penny pinching and minimalistic lifestyle. Are you just spending money that you don't need to? I'll go there. That's just moralizing. That's just hating. You know what I mean? I'm just hating. So when I do it, I try to do it with love and happiness and jokes, because I know I'm hating. I know I'm coming from a place that's, not
Right.
necessarily good for me or anybody else.
Do you feel like you disengage from people if you feel like someone's toxic and you can't quite place if it's worth it, like Rose was, or UG was saying, like, do you just disengage from them if you feel like it's not worth it, or do you become Captain Save-A-Ho and you're like, oh, let me help you work through yourself, you know?
I definitely disengage now. I used to be Captain Save a Ho. Like, I've been Captain Save a Ho for, hundreds of people, hundreds, because I've had people that followed me for 15 years. You know what I mean? So, like, and what would happen when you have people that end up following you since, like, MySpace, you end up getting in these little bubbles. Everybody has their problem. And if you're a person that's like super empathic like me, you want to listen, you think you're gonna be saving the day. You get, yo, I'm gonna tell them the best advice. They're gonna not have this problem no more. But it doesn't work. What happens is they just continue to use you, and like, oh, I got another problem. I got another, and you're just sitting there listening to every fucking story, you know what I mean, that ever existed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not helping nobody, and you're wasting your own time. And I wasted mad years of my life doing that. So it's like, yo, I tell you one, two things. I can tell by your reaction if you kind of like, you know, are dismissive. You're giving me all the problems, but you're dismissive of any idea, or like, here's a solution, here's a possible solution. You're just like, here's the problem again. It's like, all right, you just want to complain. I'll listen to you a little bit, but next time you hit me up and I see that you like big font or whatever, I'm gonna be like, nah, I'll hit you up later. I'll get
Dude,
to you
that's
in
why,
a day or two, and then you'll be fine. Then you'll be like, no, it's fine. It's cool. Yeah, don't
yeah.
come to me every fucking time there's a problem, man. I love y'all, but don't keep doing that. Like,
Dude, that's what I wonder. Like, what do I do about having a Nazi roommate? Maybe you guys could give me some advice in the chat. But I'm like,
yeah,
I feel like I'm the last person in his life who's gonna give him a chance that's not like a radical on either side. And like what do I do? Like, how do you make someone not so fucking extreme? Or is it worth it?
shit, yeah. Chat. See if y'all got an answer for Nick and his Nazi friend.
Don't call him my friend. I just live with him, so I'm forced to interact.
Nah, you want to save this. You want to save this hoe, and now you trying to. Oh, he's my friend. He's my roommate, not my friend.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
come on. You know what it is. This is your homie. You want him to think straight. You don't want him to be on some hateful shit. Anybody
Right.
got suggestions for him in the chat? Let me know. Let us know. Nick needs some help, man. I, I would just I would just talk to him and show him and put on, try to find him good people that aren't white to listen to, so maybe he won't be. So he could be like, well, that guy's all right, but everybody else is assholes. And then you show him another one. Oh, that guy's okay, but everyone. So do you see the patterns happening here? Keep putting,
Right.
people in front of you that are actually decent people, and it's not about color. And then I could put in front of you some shitty people that is your color, so you can see that it's not about color. It's about, are you a shitty person or not? Did you pick up all the shitty fucking beliefs and run with it or not? Let's see. There you go. I'll always reflect to see where it's coming from in me. The outdated belief system, the outdated. Okay, so just you were talking about the other thing. Extreme detachment. UG. Let him handle his karma. You gotta stick to your morals. You don't have to hate him. You can express that you don't see others as he does. So, Nick, because that brings me to a question. So, you already was his roommate, and then he just started to turn Nazi, like he just started putting on a swastika, and he just started to like, you know what I mean, had that red little thing here, whatever the fuck. What happened? Like,
I feel bad because I watched the Richard Grannon podcast he did, and I'm like, God, you got guys on here with all the answers, and I'm just coming here looking for the answers. But
you're fine, man. We don't know shit. We don't know shit. We don't know shit. We
you
we
know a little
we
more than me, I think.
we stop it, Nick. You're fine. I'm asking you, was he already a Nazi when he was a roommate? Did he just like, hey, what's up, new roommate? I'm a Nazi, bro. You're not
No,
Nazi like me?
no, dude. He was like, so I met him at a meditation retreat with, like we did this 10-day silent retreat, and at the last day you get to talk, and we made a bunch of friends, and then we kept hanging out in Chicago. And like one of them was Indian, one of our friends who was in our circle, and like that obviously pushed him off the whole Nazi thing. But he was extremely liberal. Like I would say I'm like a moderate. Like I see both sides of it. But he was like extremely liberal, and then flipped all the way to the other side because of the whole George Floyd protest and everything. And I'm like, dude, you can't see how it's like it's not a one-sided issue from either side, and like how history plays a role into the way things are operating today. And I
So
guess
the George Floyd thing made him a Nazi?
no, the reaction to it, like the protesting and like how there was and you saw how the violence in the protests actually started from that cop in Minneapolis smashing the windows. But that's not really the point. The point is like at one point I was having a long talk with him, and I think this is what said it. I labeled him a racist, which is a terrible thing. He was like, I was like, I mean, man, I think you just might have like some racism in you that you're really not addressing. And it's okay. We all have like racist thoughts. We're all like not grown up in perfect circumstances. But since
Right.
that point, dude, he like the next time I talked to him, he was like full red pill, like, yo, Hitler was right. And yeah. And yeah, I
Hitler
just
was
don't know.
right.
Yeah. And no, Hitler, the Holocaust didn't happen to him. He was just trying to send the Jews to Israel. It's a whole thing, man. You need to really go down that rabbit hole if you want to understand them, I think.
Also, it's kind of like one of those things like you don't know the real history. They're kind of mistelling the history and making Nazis bad when they're actually here for good.
Right.
But it's
Making him the
like,
hero.
but he just kind of misses the part that it's like, why is it for good? Because you're one color and everybody just stays one color. What about all these other people? Why are they bad? What did they
Right.
do to you? What about a white person that's in Cuba or Colombia? Are they Nazis? Or would they be considered Nazis? Or because they're white, they're completely white. They just speak Spanish. They're completely white,
Right.
blonde hair, green eyes. They're in Puerto Rico. Do they a Nazi? Could they be a Nazi with you? How does
I
this?
I don't
Did
think
you
I
have
could
to speak
even
English? Where does English come from? How far do we need to go back to learn when we got English from? Was it a Nazi thing?
Right, dude, that's
Should you be speaking German right now? Like, what are we? Why? What are we doing? Is he German? Is he German? Is he German? German. He might be
dude,
German.
he was a Mormon and then left that. So I think that plays a role into it where you're like, "Oh my god, everything they told me was a lie."
he is, yeah, there's definitely some disenfranchisement from the shit that he's been through, but he's looking for a group. He's looking for friends. Tell
Right.
him you should have told him, yo, I'm doing a podcast. Come check it out. There's a brown dude there. You might not hate him. You might not hate him. You
Dude,
know what I
we
mean?
should do. Would you be down to do a podcast with him and like
Hell yeah.
try to
If he's down to
understand?
talk, if he's down to talk and speak his truth all the way through, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, I'll talk to him. You know,
All
as
right. I'll be
he
there.
probably try to bite my head off, but
I'll be there with the fact checking, and I'll come with all the things because I went and debunked all the things he told me and tried to honestly look at it. Dude, I think that would be pretty crazy just to get into the, if nothing else, to get into the mind of him if he can't be saved,
right.
to
Thanks, Nick,
understand.
man. We gonna do
Thank
this
you.
again. We're gonna do this again, Nick. Thank you, man.
Thank
Appreciate you.
you, man. Thank you guys
Yo,
for tuning in. We appreciate you.
yep. Thanks for everybody that showed up, stayed, came and went. Love y'all. Thank you for your time and attention. Potent the Rockstar, Shamanic Poe, Tree Shamans, out of here.